everybody, welcome to the channel for a new battle report. We are on game number 2 from Infernal 2024. I was playing against one of my clubmates, which was playing for another team. Quite funny, he was playing Highborn Elves. You know already my list, and this was his list. So basically we have a quite, I would say, quite classic Highborn Elf with 3 flying models. Up those two guys. Then he has a couple of scoring units. He has obviously 550 plus to be able to score, because we are going to play all the targets, so it was quite important to observe if he played one of those expensive units that was needed in the under the hotfix 1 version 3.0 rule set. So he has that. Other than that, in the list we have a Fighty Prince who is going to go within the big unit of Seaguard. We have a second unit of Seaguard that's going to provide some more shooting, a fast cav, unit of Rima that I didn't see for a long time, that are bringing another scoring unit that can charge quite far. He has a small unit of Swordmaster as well, so quite a lot of scoring, 4 scoring unit, and then the 2 Seaguard Reaper to finish the list. So plenty of shooting, some mobile threats. I think typically the stuff that Highborn Elves do well. We were playing all the circuit target, sorry. As a reminder, we have the 2 points here, more or less in the middle of the table. But then, as a reminder, you might recall one of my previous battle reports. If you place your expensive unit within 12 of both, you can score for both. So that's definitely something I could use. And basically, I was expecting here in this setup, not especially the Highborn Elf to like the frontal approach, because I have this zone where I have plenty of shooting, all my blunderbuss and the tank. So I felt he wouldn't like too much to play frontal, especially since the blunderbuss were eating on a 5-up. I could easily create a frontal contact and then harm his big unit. So I knew that Highborn Elf, he would like to exploit the side of the map to try to go around me and basically push on the flanks. So basically that was good news for me for the primary objective. And then spell, you see the spell here. We are playing Mutual Encroachment as a deployment. It's just the one, quite classic, but he was able to deploy, or I was able to deploy, 1 core scoring unit within a forest, a field, or ruin, if I recall correctly. Let's move on. And yeah, I forgot to mention, secondary objective, I have Enslave and Ransom, which is kill or break or catch 3 unit in close combat, and he had more, I think more of his scoring unit in my deployment zone than my own scoring unit. I think that was his secondary. Matchup analysis quickly. Yeah, the big spear block is kind of hard to push against. I really need to kill some models before I can engage, and one single salve of blunderbuss might not be enough. Careful about his mobile unit that will threaten the flanks. I think that's expected when you face this type of list. Very mobile. Yeah, typically what is really strong at the moment, which is a fearless light troop model that can move as fast as they were under version 2.0. Good range damage with plenty of bows and a ball thrower. That's going to be something that could take some points in range, in the range phase. If you maintain kind of a standoff, you might be able to win some points from distance. Primary, yeah, I think I should be able to win it. I have one expensive scoring unit, and the other one, which is the Bastion, is also more expensive than his second scoring unit. So as I said, either he has to deploy in the center his Seaguard and try to move forward in front of me, which I didn't expect to do, or he would play rather on 1 point, and I just need to contest it 1 time with my most expensive scoring unit, which are the blunderbuss block, while the Bastion will be scoring the other one, and that would be enough to win the primary objective. Estimation, I felt good about the matchup. Deployment wise, I remember we went back and forth. I think around the roll 4 side, I picked the bottom part of the map. We went back and forth, and at some point he might have dropped to the +1, but he failed that roll and I was able to start the game. I think that's how it went. So let's discuss about deployment. He went with a solid right side, where you have basically Swordmaster, Seaguard, so all his infantry is here, playing around this token. Then he has as a support piece the Fire Phoenix, and in the middle he put BSB and Initiate that could go either right or left. And then on the left side you have the unit of Rima to just zone me together with the Elven River as a chaff quite in the middle, which makes sense. And then Boltor are in the back. On my side, I don't remember exactly in which way it went, but I knew that I dropped the far right anointed before I dropped the Swordmaster, which are a good counter against me. But it's still a very dicey fight, because I have impact hit, and then it's all about him rolling okay, well, or the way I roll myself. So that could go both ways, actually. But yeah, I remember him placing that infantry after my anointed, and then I'm more about the center. So you have my bastion facing this point, those guys going to go close to this one. Then we have the tank next to them to protect them. I use the forest with 1 unit of incarnate and the hill with the second unit to be protected from his shooting early on, and my 2 single model are going to go behind the hill basically. Let's move on to my turn 1. I push forward. I already established a zone where I'm really close to this one. I'm 12 from it, so no matter what happens, I'm going to be threaten him and threaten him to get this one. So I just need to be here at the end of turn 3. Here I'm creating a zone where his single model have a choice to make, because all my shooting is here in the middle. So he has to choose if he goes left or right. My bastion is closing the left flank and the tank is closing the right flank. So we'll see what he does. Here I stay in the forest. Those guys push slightly to the left to create something against those guys, and I move here the shooting guys here to get a flaming token on them. Magic Face. I got the ward save spell on my Infernal warrior in the middle, because I know that they're going to be key in this game. So I gave them ward save to be protected on turn 1 against his range damage, because the bow shot, that's the best target that he has basically. Then I fail Hereditary and Fireball. I think I made 2 dice and 2 dice, where I should have maybe just put all my dice on something. So yeah, I think he dispelled the Fireball and I fail Hereditary. I think he overdiced me and I tried something dicey basically. Let's move on to Eastern. So not much. As you can see, make a choice to go with the BSB left and initiate right, which is not what I expected, because this BSB is going to be in danger. It's only 2 threats and a chaff, and I could easily turn around the bastion and push here to try to hunt down his BSB. So happy about that. As you can see, yeah, he stayed quite far away from me. He respected the shooting range from the rocket battery. So that's something that worked really well. Magic Face on 3 dice against my 4 dice. He got the Molten Copper. My tank managed to do 2 wounds, and then he's going to fail the second Molten Copper. But with the Fizzle, he gets Hereditary. And then let's move on to the shooting. We have both 15 Seaguard shooting at the tank, and then 30 Seaguard shooting at the tank. You see the odds. The 15 Seaguard are going to do an amazing 4 wound, which doesn't exist in the wounds in the stat, and the second unit is going to reach the total of 11% to do the 2 wounds or more. So basically, with a Molten Copper and a good amount of bow shots, he managed to get rid of the tank, which is not something I expected, to be honest, to lose him turn 1. We will see how I recover from that. So my turn 2, I'm pushing left with the Bastion to try to close a bit the pressure, to put some pressure on his BSB. Here I wasn't able to get some flaming token, but this time I'm not moving to be sure to get that. I felt that when I got a flaming token, then he could charge my incarnate. He would do some good damage, could kill probably 3 models at most, but then he would die from my attack. So the trade-off would be okay for me. I place the mage here within 24 of the bolt horror to get some pyro spell on them. Right side I remain. You can see some distance between my unit, but they are just covering themselves, so covering with the anointed, covering with the incarnate, basically just making sure that's going to be really hard for him to push on this right side, while I'm trying to get the points off the left flank and scoring the primary. That's basically the game plan. Magic Face, Pyroclastic Flow, 4 dice against 4 on the Bolt Horror gets Dispel, and then Fireball on the Bolt Horror does nothing, so that was disappointing. On shooting, I kill 1 Knight of Rima with a little bow shot, and I'm able to get the very juicy Flaming token, Incendiary token, so that was nice to kill one of them. Unlucky for him, but really nice for me because that's less attack, and then the combat Incarnate against Rima is even better for me. His turn 2, I don't take any charges, he moved to the side with the chaff to create something. Those guys also, yeah, they respect me, and he plays the BSB looking that way just to counter in case I attempt any long charge, basically, like a trap. He moves slightly forward with the Phoenix, the rest stays in the back. like I said, he respects the charge range of the Anointed, which is good for me, and this guy also stay away from my blunderbuss shot. So I'm providing the zoning that I wanted with the blunderbuss being in the middle. In the magic phase, he get +1 to hit on the archer, and he killed a total of 5 Infernal Warrior. So doing some good damage on those guys. They're starting to bleed. My turn 3. I attempted the long charge with the Vassal Cavalry on his fast cav. I didn't move much forward, but in hindsight, I don't think it was the play to do that. I think I should have kept them and do some more shooting and play some flaming token. Basically, I could have moved, for example, here to the side, try to create some shots. I think I could have done other stuff. So, yeah, not that great what I did here with the fast cav. I move forward with the Incarnate. BSB is too far to charge me. The Rymanite can come, I would be happy too. I have a flaming token and he lost a model. Then the Bastion moved towards the center, and I have the Chariot as a counter charger, so in case he charge with the Rymanite, I could counter charge with the Mage. And the Mage is also within 24 to cast spell on these guys and out of line of sight of his BSB. So the left flank is totally under control, and now I'm starting, that's why also I start to push the Bastion towards the other side, because I felt I have enough on the left flank for the moment, and at any time I can turn around the Bastion if I need to. So basically trying to create some pressure on the this zone of the map, maybe taking some points and not allowing the Initiate to escape basically. Then what else? Yeah, the right side just basically forming a battle line, zoning him so it's hard for him to engage. Magic phase, I get the pyroclastic flow, and this time I got off and I one-shot the bolt thrower, so that was very nice. And then I failed the fireball, I think on the fast cav. He's turn 3. He elected to move with the Initiate out of my line of sight with the Bastion, which is interesting, but is going to be in range of all my blunders, so that's going to be funny. And he double fail charge. He had, I think, a 4 swift and a 5 swift on both. Yeah, 4 swift and 5 swift, and he failed both. So that's obviously a good news for me. I would have been intrigued to see the Rymanite coming into that combat, so we'll see now what he does. And he plays basically the BSB as a counter charger here in case I would charge him. Okay, nice. In the magic phase, he tried to get -1 harmless save somewhere, I dispel, and then he got molten copper on my general and did a wound and did some killing with the shooting. My turn. My time to do a move with the Bastion to move out of line of sight of both the Sea Guard and the Initiate, and I'm able to get within 12, so I'm going to shoot him, and I'm going to shoot him with all these guys. So that's a lot of shots. It's like, I would say 15-35 on 5 and 4. That could do some damage. I'm also adding the magic in case it's needed. And here, yeah, I wanted those units to cover themselves each other in case the Phoenix charge me. What I didn't know at the time, remember it's version 3.0, I don't know all the rules. And basically, I didn't know that the first Phoenix has now resistance flaming attack, which I felt is kind of strange for Frost Phoenix, which is basically ice, and ice is supposed to not like fire, but in that case he has resistance flaming attack, which is obviously not at all the same matchup than I expected between Incarnate and Phoenix, especially only with the counter charge blunderbuss and not the Torque Anointed. So I felt here a total misplacement of my Incarnate that should have just moved slightly back here and continued the zoning without engaging and just protecting this area of the map. So yeah, not so great, but like I said, I didn't know the rule. Also, I forgot to mention on the left flank, I double charge him and he made the exact flee move that he needed. I think with like 10 or more, he was out of the map. 10 or 11, I think one 10, the other 11, and he made like 8 and 9, which resulted in a double fail charge. I checked before that the fail charge would mean a charge in the front. I placed my Lamasu as a counter charger, so that's all right. Yeah, feeling okay about that. Would have nice to catch him. Also, in hindsight, for the thinking about the secondary was obviously something interesting for me. But yeah, despite, I think he was unlucky to fail both charges, and now he's a bit lucky to stay on the table and not be catch on both charges, which is okay. But I'm still feeling okay about the situation. In Magic Phase, I try Flaming Sword on my Bastion to kill the Initiate, but I fail on 3 dice. Then I managed to do the 5z3, so Pyro Flow on his Sea Guard, I kill 5. And with shooting, I put all my blunder, which is 35 blunder on the initiate, and I kill him. So that's totally fine. I would say even if I didn't kill him right now, I mean, he could have only moved back and retreat, because if he take any charge on the blunder, he dies on the stand and shoot most likely. So yeah, I was feeling totally okay about the situation here. So I took the initiate, his turn 4. He rallied both units on the left and charged me with the BSB. So that's something here. He charged the Phoenix into the position. I was feeling very okay at the time. I didn't knew that he had resistance against fire, and basically he's pushing max with those guys to create that and that. So basically prepare 2 counter charges, and it's very risky for me. He covered the angle here, so if I charge and I don't break him, it's likely he's going to have a rank and stuff, so I could be counter charge as well. So yeah, basically he's going to pin me down with the Phoenix and then grab some points with the other unit. Also worth noticing that we only played turn 5. We didn't have the time to play turn 6. So the round were a bit short, to be honest. Time-wise, maybe we started also a bit late. And sometimes if you go back and forth, like it happened game 1, you go back and forth at the deployment, it takes quite a bit of time, to be honest. You have to think about it carefully, and quite interesting. Also, I forgot to mention on the Phoenix I would have 2 counter charges, which is those guys and also the chariot, but yeah, resistance to flaming attack. I don't think that would be enough to break him, and then also I get cuff. I cannot chaff the Seaguard here, and I would get cuffed by them. So yeah, complicated here to do something about a situation that I felt under control, but is actually not at all under control. Magic phase, what happens? It was a charge here on the 4 Swift for the Phoenix, and he didn't miss this time. I think he tried to get -1 armor save on the Anointed to hurt me with shooting. I dispelled that. Then if I dispelled Hereditary as well, and he got Molten Copper, which did 2 wounds on the Troik Anointed. On the left, I think, as I recall, he fluffed and did only a wound to my so static res. We were on the draw, and basically he fluffed with his attack, and I managed to do like 2 or 3 wounds. He lost by 2 or 3, had a check to take, and he passed it. I think that was it, I would say. We will see the wounds afterwards. Yeah, I think he did only wound, and I did like 2 or 3 wounds, I think. So rolled crazy high. Here doesn't go as well because resistance against fire, so he win that combat, but I stick. My turn 5, which is going to be the last turn, I charge with the Lamassu, I chaff the Rayman Knight with my Vassal Cav, I push with the Bastion to shoot at the Seaguard. Those guys, I think, as well, I don't remember if they had shooting or not, to be honest. And here I just move away. I elected not to take the counter charge on the Phoenix, because I didn't feel it's going to be working, and is going to be most likely getting one of those charges here and get my Incarnate for that mistake of not knowing the rules, but that's the only point he's going to get, so we will see. And remember, the BSB is on the far left, meaning those guys here, I think they have minimized but non-rerollable panic checks, so you never know. Magic phase, I get Pyro Flow, kill 4 Seaguards, and then shooting, I kill like 10 or 11. With all my shooting, I think I had the other blunderbuss also in range, so I kill 11 total, so 15 less. He has only like 15 left, or even less, or like 10 something. So good amount of damage. He did more wounds in combat. He's turn 5. He's going to go into the Incarnate, but to my surprise, I'm going to survive after combat result with like 1 guy and saving half point. I forgot to mention on the left, I finish to kill his BSB with the Kalim Incarnate. Is going to kill my Fast Cav, and that's going to be the end of the game. So I took his BSB, Initiate, and a Seaguard Reaper. Didn't manage to take half point of the Seaguard in the middle. He took my tank, turn 1. Then half Incarnate and the Fast Cav, so that's totally fine. As you can see, if he took the other half of Incarnate, it would have changed nothing point-wise. Primary was in my favor, obviously. I took it turn 3, and after that it was impossible for him to recover and get an expensive Seaguard on the second token on the left, so I knew it was already won. Secondary objective, I only kill in close combat his BSB, and that's it, so not enough. I had opportunities. If I would have catch the 2 units on the left and then take the BSB, that would have been it. And neither did he do it, so it ended up being a 13-7 due to the primary objective, basically. Post-game analysis, yeah. I like my shape at deployment. I was in prime position for the primary objective, using the cover as well. I think I was quite happy about the shape I got, despite him being able to push left flank a little bit, but not too much. Right flank as well was well under control, so I didn't feel he had any good opportunities to push me, obviously, while I had control in the middle and doing damage early on. Strange left flank, multiple fail charge, so I fail, he failed 2 times, I fail again, and then he charged me, and actually the combat didn't happen between the unit that tried to charge themselves, so that was very strange. His turn 1, yeah, we had some roller coaster emotion. On his turn 1-shotting the tank was obviously a very good spike of bow shot, as effective as there never have been in their entire life. So that was kind of amazing, but didn't really hurt my plan, to be honest. So that was not too bad, honestly. Surprised by the resistance against fire from the Phoenix. Yeah, I learned something. I should have played Incarnate better. I should have asked him. Should have checked the army book. I had plenty of other solutions. It ended up costing me a point, we could say. It ended up costing me a bigger win. Turn 4 Infernal Dwarves, the Initiate punish for the position. Yeah, I don't think it was the right choice to move here in the middle to try to create something against my big unit. It was never going to end well to take 35 blunderbuss shot. I mean, that was a very risky position. And I mean, what he would have done, if he survived, you can potentially double charge the middle blunderbuss by starting with the Phoenix. You're hoping to get both in close combat, and then you get stand and shoot on the Phoenix and not on the Initiate. You're hoping then to survive the strength 5 attack in close combat with the Initiate, and maybe to double stomp, and maybe break me, but if you don't, you get countercharged by Incarnate. So I'm not sure it was a good plan at all. I think the Initiate should have repositioned, and to be honest, overall, I felt on a macro level, it was not the right positioning for his BSB and Initiate to be on. We saw he was kind of trapped. Also, the Phoenix wasn't enough to the flank, in my opinion. I think he should have really played both Initiate and Phoenix really much more to the side to try to create openings on the flanks and threaten my smaller unit. So I think here use his mobility much more efficiently on the flank, while his BSB not being so threatened by Bastion. Because I think here the Bastion pushing in the middle just conditioned and forced him to move back into weaker positions with Initiate and BSB, and they never got really threatening me. Actually, they were like on the back foot and covering stuff, and while he tried to do some advance, then he was punished by the blunder. So yeah, I think it wasn't the right plan for him regarding the use of the single model. Turn 4, Infernal Dwarves, yeah, the key turn for the second wave for me. The charges on the left, obviously. He could have made some. Like I said, I didn't. I think the fast cav charge for myself on his fast cav was a mistake, because if he charged me back like it happened and make it, I think it's very dicey, and I didn't like that. So I feel here I made a mistake, but then I don't feel I'm really threatened by his charge of Rhyma Knight. I think his Rhyma Knight, yeah, on my Incarnate would have killed 3. He tried to weaken them and then get them with the BSB, but I think at any time I can choose to turn around the Bastion and provide support, and I think he cannot come after that with his BSB. So I'm not sure it's that great, and we saw the BSB just alone also didn't deliver so much against Incarnate with Wartime. I didn't find a way to really push against the Spear Lord unit. Yeah, I think you just need more shooting to be able really to approach this unit that's very fighty. But to be honest, I didn't need to. I think the standoff was perfectly fine, because I knew due to the macro I was like starting at 13. So it was all about getting some more points without bringing him back on the path to victory. And I just played on my victory and played quite safe about that, and tried to create some opportunities and take advantage from situation where I felt the risk management was under control. And at the end, what cost me was the spike of bow on the tank, who was, to be honest, very exposed. I think the tank, no matter what, would have died against so much shooting at some point. And then the Incarnate that I lost half due to not understanding correctly the new rule of the Frost Phoenix, and the last unit I lost was a chaff. So I think, to be honest, the rest was pretty under control, just losing some points about stuff like dice or bad choices with Incarnate. Anyway, the round went really well. As you can see, we won on 5 table and just lost 9 to 11 on the last table. So totally under control. We got a cap. which was the aim. So after 2 rounds, we got 2 cap. So we are on the top tables, but we have a lot of teams that had a good amount of points. And on round number 3, it's going to be very interesting because we face, I would say, we won it, I think 3 years in a row. So we are obviously one of the key favorites for the tournament. But the other team that was the second favorite was a team composed by Team France, ETC player. We have people like Benji, PE, Coco Freeze also from Team Switzerland was playing with them. So very, very solid team. They were definitely our main competitor for the tournament. So that's going to be a decisive round for us. And you will see a very interesting game also to analyze. Guys, thanks a lot for watching and talk to you soon on the channel. Take care and goodbye.